Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Maddie with the Toasty Bros, and today we're hitting the hard-hitting question that we get asked every day, about 100 times a day. Is the graphics card market getting better? And if so, how soon until it's back to normal?
Long story short, it kinda is, but there are a couple things that are still a little bit worrisome, but we will make a prediction at the end of this video on when we think the graphics card market will get better. Will it be right? I don't know, but you can save it for the future and come back to us if we're wrong. But before we dive into this video, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by GVGMall, an online marketplace to gain access to some really awesome discounted game keys and more specifically, Windows 10 licenses.
Make sure you use code TB20 at checkout to get 20% off your purchase. And it's really easy to activate Windows. All you have to do is take that product key they send you, literally copy and paste it, click activate, and boom, you have Windows 10 Pro activated, ready to go.
Link in the description down below will link you to Windows 10, use TB20, save some money, activate Windows. Don't let friends use unactivated Windows. It's not good. Don't let it happen. Goodbye.
So before we get into some opinions and some things that Matt and I have just personally seen that kind of gave us hope for the graphics card market, we're gonna start out with just some simple facts. And one of those facts is we used eBay a lot when we were trying to get these new cards, such as the 3060s, 67, 6800 XTs, you name it, we were trying to get them. And we did end up getting all of them at some point or another. So we have paid scalper prices for many of these cards. We used to pay something like $1,000 for even a 6700 XT or an RTX 3060. Now you can see the 6700 XTs for as cheap as around $700 to $750 on eBay. And then you can see the 3060s for close to the same price on eBay. So that alone is a major decrease in pricing just due to the cards themselves being more expensive now. So less people are scalping them.
Of course, it's still way over the MSRP, but really what is MSRP anymore? There's a lot of factors factoring into the cost of these graphics cards, whether it's the import fees, whether it's just the fact that people are raising prices so they don't get purchased and then scalped on the used market. There's a lot of things going on right now to try to fix this problem, and 3060 for $700 might not be the best idea, but you can go with some older cards which are actually coming down in price a lot more.
So for an example on a somewhat older card, but like really these cards aren't even that old. Like they actually still make RTX 20 series for the most part, minus a couple of them. So like an RTX 2070, you can go onto eBay and usually get them for like $500 to $600, which is going to outperform a normal RTX 3060. A lot of people though, they just hear 3060 and they're like, ooh, I need that. I know that's the latest and greatest, but realistically, something like a 2070 or 2080 or 2080 Super are going to way outperform those cards, and you might be able to snag them for the same price as one of these new cards.
And if you want to go older, we've gotten 10 series cards for some budget builds, like 1070s and 1080s. They are more expensive than what they used to be, but you can still get them at good prices, and they do compete with even the 2000 series RTX cards for just general gaming. Of course, you don't have like the ray tracing features, but let's be honest, not many people really care about that. Maybe some people care about the NVIDIA encoder, but it does have an NVIDIA encoder on it, so you can use those for live streaming as well. But in recap, the NVIDIA cards right now, you can get the budget ones like the 3060s and maybe 3060 Ti's for decently scalped prices, but everything else that's a little bit older actually is a pretty decent buy.
And to go on some more opinion-based things, like recently I was up in Chicago and Zach and I, we spent a lot of money at Micro Center. We spent like over $5,000, but we got 3 builds out of it. And it was really cool because all those builds had brand new graphics cards, and I got to check out their display cases. They had their AMD display case literally stocked with graphics cards. Like they couldn't fit anymore in there. They even had some refurbs, they had some open boxes. Now, the pricing on them is really, I think, what keeps them there. It's awesome that they're there, but something like a 6700 XT from like an aftermarket board company, you're looking at like $700 to $800, which is about eBay scalper price, but that also makes it to where people aren't gonna go to Micro Center to buy that card and then resell it. So there is more on the shelf because of that. And then in the NVIDIA department, we did see a few cards. There was like a 3080 Ti, a 3090, and they had a bunch of 3060s, but obviously they didn't have much in between in terms of great value.
The prices are definitely higher, as we mentioned, and you have to pay a premium to get them, but just the fact that they're on shelves and you can actually pick them up is a step in the right direction, because at the beginning of all these graphics card pricing issues, you were, 1, getting them really, really expensive on the scalper market, and 2, they just weren't even on shelves long enough for you to actually see them at high prices. So the fact that we're in the right direction where there are cards sitting there shows that the market is getting better in terms of inventory. Now a matter of pricing is the next thing that will need to be adjusted.
And then another thing we have definitely seen more of is the both local and online sales of more exclusive dealers. So companies like Best Buy, Newegg, EVGA, B-Stock, you go in store to Micro Center or going back to Best Buy, and you might have some like local one-off stores. I know we have a couple of local stores here that every so often they have cards that they buy straight from manufacturers. So there is actually a lot of ways to get cards. You just have to be really determined. And it is really nice to be able just to run to Best Buy when they're doing these drops, because we actually have a few right down the street from us, and like last week, I think they had a drop of just the non-partner board NVIDIA series cards, and you could go buy yourself a 3080 Ti or whatever card you wanted.
Now, really, this whole video is just kind of to recap the stuff that we have experienced. Of course, there are a lot of people in different positions that have better ideas on if the market's getting better. If you work for like an NVIDIA or a AMD, you probably have a decent idea what we're looking at. But I just kind of wanted us to make a prediction to see like when we think the market's gonna get better. I'll go first. I really think that the market's gonna be better probably early next year, so like January, February-ish. I don't think it's gonna be like normal. I just really see AMD and NVIDIA cards being in stock on shelves at higher MSRP pricing, but available and ready to go. I just really hope that companies like NVIDIA and AMD don't just release a whole new lineup of cards before that happens. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I feel like they have plans in place, but with the current shortage, it just would seem really odd to release a whole new lineup of cards in the coming year and then have us basically have the same situation over again. But maybe stock will be better at that time. But if I were to predict, I would say January, February, Q1 2022 would be when things are getting a bit better.
And so just in terms of better, I really think every day the graphics card market gets ever so slightly better, maybe by a few cents, maybe by a couple more cards in stock. But in terms of when will things kind of get back to what they were like right before the pandemic, I also agree with Matt that I think it's gonna probably be towards the beginning of next year, because you gotta think about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and just Christmas in general, where everybody wants to get their gaming PC, they wanna get the cards for them. So you gotta think if they're selling more pre-builds, they're using more graphics cards. If more people are wanting to upgrade their builds, they're using more graphics cards. So I think because of that, we're going to see just a steady gradual decrease in pricing, but when things will actually be like mostly back to normal, although I don't know if MSRP will ever be like great again in the near future. They might come out with something totally different by then. Who knows? They might get to a point where they're like, okay, we need something different than graphics cards because they're being used for mining, and we're tired of people like taking them for mining and scalping. So yeah, next year.
Today's video is brought to you by Patriot and their Viper V770 RGB mechanical keyboard featuring Kale Red switches, a detachable wrist rest with RGB lighting, 5 dedicated macro keys, media controls, volume mute control, a built-in pull-out phone holder, USB pass-through functionality, and even dedicated lighting keys so you can customize your keyboard lighting on the fly. They also have a super easy-to-use software that allows you to fully edit, design, and customize your keyboard to your liking. Check the link down below to learn more, and special thanks again to Patriot for sponsoring today's video.
So I would love to know in the comment section down below what you all think about the graphics card market. Is it getting better in your country? Mainly our experience is here in the US. So if you're outside the US and you're having a, well, better or worse experience, let us know down below. And really, we're just kind of holding out hope that things get better sooner rather than later. We are optimistic, as you can tell from this video. A few months ago, we wouldn't be as optimistic, but right now we're feeling pretty good about it. And hopefully you guys can see some more content from us with graphics cards in stock at the right prices.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
And hey, you're probably looking at all these graphics cards going, where do we get these? Why do we have them? Well, PCBros.tech, our PC selling business, we go through a lot of graphics cards.
We get a lot in, we build a lot of computers and sell them at great prices. So PCBros.tech, buy PCs from us today. See you guys later. Goodbye.